Y'all, let me tell y'all something. I'm really that girl. No, for real. And if you think I'm better than you, I probably am.
Kill the ego. Boom.
Wait, why is everyone talking about killing the ego anyways?
Before we get into that, guys, welcome back to a brand new episode, okay? Like we always do, drop videos like this every week because we always show up for y'all.
Okay.
If you have not done so already, please like and subscribe. And if you have done so already, welcome back. We've got brand news.
So, the ego. Everyone's
ego.
been talking about it, killing the ego. And first off, what is the ego? Let's break it down for y'all.
Yes. So the ego, right?
Right.
Basically, dealing with the conscious mind.
Okay.
Right.
Right. It's your self-identity. It's me.
Mhm.
I am better than y'all. Am I really? No.
Maybe. It's all a matter of perspective, right? Whose lens are you wearing? But I think what we really want to talk about here, guys, is the ego trap.
Yes.
Okay? Not that we don't need the ego, but we can fall into the ego trap. And a lot of people do that, especially people who are in power, people who feel more superior than others, people who feel more significant. Because let's be for real, no matter how much money one has, no matter how poor you are, we're all the same.
Right.
There is nothing more superior about one person than the other. If you look at the world in terms of like dualism, like where it's a balance. Everything has to be balanced out, where we need the good just as much as the bad.
Exactly.
We need the poor just as much as the rich. It's a matter of the balance, right?
Right. And with that being said, right, like with what you're saying, ego has its place in this world. I always like to think like if God made us perfect, right, we are here having this human experience. So the ego is very much necessity. Because without it, how would we know where would the growth be? Where would we know where to elevate and to be better?
Exactly.
So
the ego sets, I like it what you were saying. It kind of works as a like that anchor, like, okay, this is where I need to work on, because the ego comes into play when this is happening or when that's happening. So you know that in order to ascend or to grow past that ego part, because we're more than just our ego.
Yeah.
We needed to navigate through the world, sure, but we're more than just our ego. Just like we're more than our bodies, just like we're more than our thoughts.
That part. So the most important thing that we want to talk about, like you were saying, is falling in the ego trap, which is, still in the matrix.
Yes.
One of the main things.
Keeps us in the matrix.
Yeah. Right. One of the main things that you're in this ego trap, like we're saying earlier, is judgment. So I am saying, when I started off saying I am better than y'all, and you know what I mean, like. The judgment part aspect of it is definitely keeping us in there. I am not better than y'all. We are all human, right? We all have God within us.
Yes.
Now, within the world of judgment, a lot of people want to put in judgment and discernment together.
As it's the same thing.
And it's not.
It's not. Now, the human condition, the ego condition we'll also call it, the ego trap, bound you to believe that you have to make judgments about certain things, to live your life a certain way, to indicate that you're living your life better than those. Or, a lot of Christians fall into this victimism or, this ego trap as well. Like, there's a one way to live your life versus the other, and you must choose. When that's not really the case. Now, judgment, is basically putting superiority for one thing over the other. That's judgment. And we should maintain a state of neutrality where we're not judging the other one. So we like to use discernment instead, right?
Yes, and discernment is different because discernment is more self-focused on you, your needs. You know what I mean? Like I eat this type of way because I know my body and my spirit.
And your needs, right.
But I don't go ahead and tell you how you should live. You should do this, you should do that. That is not the area of discernment where it fits my life and my needs.
Exactly.
Now, only the individual knows what's best for them and how they live and how their experience in their life, right? Because we create our own reality.
Absolutely.
So that's how that happens, right?
Yes.
So
in a world with dualism, discernment is what helps you navigate through. Okay, you notice how it's not judging this or that. It's just navigating through in the path that aligns with what each one of us here were meant to do, because we're all part as the whole. We're all part of the whole, and we all have a role to play, within us. We're like a segment of this whole, and we have a role to play in this world of dualism, right?
Yeah, I love that. And it's like, okay, well, so you say you are in this ego trap, right? Now you're comparing, you think you're better than someone because you listen to classical music and this person listens to hip hop or rap, right? And like you were saying, like heavily in the church community, that is very prevalent. And even now, I want to say in the spiritual community too, right? Because now there is a rise of who, everyone's
I'm spiritual, you're not.
Right. And it's kind of like, that is not the aspect at all, right? Because we want to take the self out of that and start putting we, because it is us.
Absolutely. And when we are, and just to clarify that too, guys, yes, we are spiritual beings, and we promote this a lot in terms of this is how we live our lives.
Right.
And this is how it affected our lives in a positive way or negative way, etc. Right? So this is why we share this information, so that when you take it for you decide how you want to incorporate some of the information into your lives, right? How to navigate in your world. But don't confuse it with us telling you that this is what you should do over the other.
Right.
There's two completely different things as far as we're doing here.
Okay, or saying that our life is better than ours. If religion works for you, then stick with religion.
Yes.
If it didn't work for you, then that's what we're telling you. Go explore and expand your consciousness.
Yes.
To be better.
It's about what feels good in your heart, what feels right with your own internal vibrations, your own chakras, and everything. That's not to say that we may not have imbalances, which there are obvious physical manifestations when we have imbalances like illnesses, sicknesses, and things like that. And we share insight on how to, get yourself back into balance. But even getting yourself back into balance, that's just an idea. There are many ways to get yourself back in balance.
That part. So it's kind of like, with that being said, how do we get out of the ego trap, right?
Yes.
Like, because it's like, okay, well, we're in there, right? You're in there. How do you get out? The first part is to be aware of your subconscious mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it does govern our emotions or actions or decisions that we make in our day-to-day life.
Absolutely.
And that's like 95% of that is behind the scenes. To say that you're not even aware of what's happening.
Right. Exactly, because our subconscious drives most of the actions that we make without even being conscious. You know what I'm saying? And in the subconscious mind is where you store mental programming of things that happen to you over the years, whether it's preconceived notions, judgments, certain beliefs about things. Those were all programmed into our subconscious mind. So then it drives our conscious mind, and that's how we see that we apply judgment to certain things, or we apply belief over certain things coming out into the conscious mind. But you do realize that even the subconscious mind can be reprogrammed.
Oh yeah, yes it can, okay? And we've gone through that journey ourselves.
Absolutely.
Which is why we've seen drastic differences in our life. Because now, when you deal with the 95% and you're clearing the house up, the attic, the basement, so to speak, you're giving and you're filling it up with more spaces, that you are now conscious that you do know that's back there, right? We're planting good seeds.
Exactly.
So it could grow. Well, that's what now is going to lead into that 5% of your conscious mind that you're seeing out there.
Absolutely. And why this is important, because our subconscious mind is being programmed by things that are subtle, okay?
Yes.
So like, what's it called? The logos that we see from a day-to-day.
Okay.
The ads that we listen to from a day-to-day. The music we listen to from a day-to-day. They all have their own programming that they do to the subconscious mind. That one day you'll wake up and believing this, thinking this. And if you don't dare to question where that came from, you'll actually think it's from you. When that's not even you. Like, if you had a different experience, if you lived in a different part of the world, which would have different mental programmings, would your mind change? Most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely it would change.
I love
so
that,
we really have to pay attention to the subconscious portion that drives most of our daily actions. And that's how too, like a lot of millionaires, right? When they become millionaires, when they seem like, they have this brand new idea, this brand new concept. Okay. It's more than just the idea. Their whole life changed. And how did they change their lives? They changed their subconscious mind. Okay. They reprogrammed the programming that's been occurring since you were a child. since you came out the womb.
Since you came out, exactly, because it is deemed by society, it is deemed by the culture, it's the schools that you go to, the college, all of that, religion, all of that is planting little seeds in your mind, which you're not, like you were saying, you're not entirely aware of.
Exactly.
Now, bringing that to light will help you change your life. And ways that you do that is, one is affirmation, repeating, making sure that you're challenging those old programming in your mind.
Absolutely.
You grew up poor. That doesn't mean you have to be poor now.
Yes.
You can definitely change that lifestyle.
Absolutely.
You grew up eating heavily meat and dairy. Okay, that's the past. We don't got to do that now. We can now change your life, making conscious decisions.
Exactly.
Of where you're at now.
Right, and I like that you're showing both ends of this, because the ego trap also keeps you a victim. Okay, if you grew up believing that you couldn't afford certain things, or you're not good enough to gain certain things, that's the victim of the ego. Like, what makes you think you couldn't gain this, and others who just walk in and feel like they deserve it and they just get it? Like, you really have to ask yourself these questions. You can be, in the ego trap, and it just, I feel like that's more so living in the extreme ends versus a balanced state, which you should be in all the time.
Okay, and ultimately, the whole human experience is the integration of the ego, of that awareness. And awareness is not judgment. That's two different things. Awareness is to see and to observe without judgment. So we definitely need the ego. The ego is part of us, and we need to integrate it so that we can rise above it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what we should strive to maintain every single day. So every single time, you're about to speak to somebody and you start to feel the ego seeping in from the subconscious, like, ooh, who do you think you're talking to? Like, you dare think you can approach me? That's the ego trap. And you don't know that if this person was going to drop some gold on you, you know what I'm saying? Drop some brand new information, some great idea, or even a message from above, from the angels, because they use people all the time to speak to us. And you could miss your blessing by judging the form in which that approaches you.
Oh, there you go. And I love that. So what do you guys think? Is that a trap that you fall into often? I mean, come on now, let's be real with ourselves.
Yes.
It's within every community, spiritual and non-spiritual, religious and non. You could find it all throughout the world, right? So how do you guys navigate those traps? Okay, now that you are aware of it, how do you elevate above it and to check yourself, right?
Absolutely, because one must always check oneself. And I feel like that is a sign of not only awareness, but growth as well. Because you know where you fall short, you know where you need work in. So we encourage you guys, to check your egos.
Okay.
Like, for real.
Keep it in check.
Don't fall in the ego trap. No one is better than the other. Absolutely no one. We came from dust and we will fall back into dust.
That's
okay.
Right.
Live yourself like, the phoenix, for example. I like to relate to the phoenix a lot, Rise from the societal programming, the societal pressures, everything that people think you should be living your life. And the process of dying, in a sense of like just letting go.
Yes.
Letting go of all that, negative stuff that you don't need in your life.
And then rebirthing into a new you with new ideas, with new beliefs, with new experiences to help change your world and then change other people's world.
Exactly. I mean, that's all we have for y'all as far as Ego Trap.
Okay.
And again, if you have not subscribed, please hit like and subscribe. We drop videos like this every week. And thank you for joining us this week, y'all.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.